And hello YouTube and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Zone with me, your host Jonathan, aka the Dr. Movies. And now I get to talk about my spoiler review of Batman v Superman. Like I said, warning, spoiler, if you've never seen the Bat movie, don't watch this, go away now because I'm about to start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've been warned. Before I start talking about it, Superman dies. There you go. I just wanted to say that now. Superman's dead. Ding dong, Superman's dead. Alright, before I get to that part of the movie, let me talk about the characters and what are they doing in this movie. The good, the bad, and all the good juicy stuff. First of all, Batman's awesome in this movie. The dude really knows how to beat the holy hell out of people. And then he brands some of them with like an iron. You know how when they brand like a horse with that little, that stick with the heat? Yeah, he basically had like a bat symbol and he brands people with this. It's crazy. Dude breaks necks, dude beats people to a pulp, kill people in this movie. It's crazy. Now you're going to ask me, oh wait, Batman don't kill? I understand Batman doesn't kill, but you know what? He has killed in the past. Move on. If you don't like that, then this is not the movie for you. But I still liked it a lot. He didn't do too much. But he did show how ruthless he is. And also, dude's a genius. Dude gets the kryptonite because kryptonite is actually in this movie, and he steals it from Lex Luthor, who found it in some tropical island under the water. They found it, he bought it basically, and then Batman decides to steal it from him. And then when Batman has the kryptonite, he decides to make weapons out of it. It's incredible. He makes a gas out of it so he can put as bullets for a gun he has. It's a genius. And of course, he suits up his armor suit so he can get ready to duke out with Superman. And then, I'll get to that point. Another good thing about this movie is that Lex Luthor is kind of psychotic in this movie. Because honestly, there's a scene where one of the victims of the Metropolis incident, he lost his legs. So basically, Lex Luthor gives him a new fancy wheelchair. But to him, he's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Luthor. Thank you for helping me. And then he wants to go stand against Superman and, talk about him in court. And of course, basically, the whole Capitol blows up. And Superman's in this Capitol, because you've seen in the trailer, when he goes into the Capitol, it blows up. The guy in the wheelchair had a bomb inside his wheelchair, but he didn't know that. He was just set up to do it. Because Lex Luthor wanted to try to kill Superman, and also blame him. And a lot of people in this movie blame Superman for a lot of crap that goes down. There was an incident near Africa where Lois Lane's doing her journalistic stuff. And Superman, before it saves her, this team comes out of nowhere, which you end up finding out later that it's hired by Lex Luthor, kills a bunch of people. And then Superman comes and then makes it look like he did it. And it's pretty insane how they really blame Superman for a lot of crap in this movie. But yeah. And then there's other parts in this movie which I still to this moment cannot understand. I just saw the movie last night and it still wraps in my head. Like with Wonder Woman, when you see her in, normally, Diana Prince, you see her at a party, where Bruce Wayne in the trailer meets Clark Kent. So Bruce is trying to figure out how to, what's Lex Luthor's scheme in all this. He's trying to calculate maybe he's behind all this crap. And then he wants to get his files that, Lex Luthor has in his computers. Maybe to get information about Superman, but we don't really know too much about it until we get to that point. So basically he goes down to sneak around to do his thing. He's got one of these gadgets where he can just put into near a computer and it downloads all the information from the computer, from that hard drive to his hard drive, so that way he has it in the Batcave. So that way he's ready to crack it open whenever he needs to, and he's good to go. But before he does that, we get Wonder Woman. Comes out of nowhere. She takes the gadget that Batman set up to get the information that Lex has, and she just disappears. Now, I was talking about how this was the weakest part of the movie. Personally, I felt like this part shouldn't even been in this movie. Couple of reasons. One, why would Wonder Woman even want to be involved with this? There's no backstory about why she's even wanted to do this. There's no total about this. She just goes there, she takes it, and that's it. There's no backstory to like why she even wants to do this in the first place. Now I would it would have been better if she teamed up with Bruce and she was just like the distraction, or he was the distraction at the party, talking about speeches and donating money, and then she can go down there with his machine to take the information, and then she can walk out, and then they can both calculate it together. No, she just takes it off and does it by herself, and then she just leaves. So now Bruce Wayne's like wondering what's this woman's deal with all this stuff. And then we get to another point in this movie where I didn't like, where she gives back the hard drive that Bruce, worked hard to try to get from Lex Luthor, and she couldn't crack it open. She couldn't crack it. Of course, obviously, she's not a detective like Batman is, so, she needed his help. So, of course, he cracks the code, and, of course, it has all the information about her, the Flash, Aquaman, and, of course, Cyborg. Another thing about this movie I really could not stand is Cyborg. Now, in the beginning, before this movie was supposed to be filmed, they told us that we were going to see Victor Stone. Victor Stone is a football player in college, gets into his accident, and then he becomes Cyborg at the end of it. Now, I thought we were going to see him in the movie. You don't see him. You only see a computer version of himself, in the laptop, and that's pretty much it. Then you see Aquaman, and he looked cool, so he looked pretty jacked up, so it looks like we're going to get a big Aquaman, so at least that. Flash looked great. He was just doing his normal thing, where, he's just in his regular, he was just Barry Allen, in a way. He's in a grocery store, and then somebody's trying to get robbed. He super speeds, and he gets the bad guy. But it happened so fast that you couldn't even see it, so that's why Lex has it. We have no idea. There's no backstory about what's going on in this thing. So that's another thing I just couldn't understand what. There's no really build up to this whole Justice League thing here. It's not like Marvel, where they had different movies for each, superhero, and then team up to do it. Now, I get that they want to do it different from Marvel, but they could at least plan it a little bit better. And there's a scene in this movie where I actually liked, where Batman's having a dream, and then in this dream is, he's in the desert, he's using a gun, and he's got kryptonite, because apparently something's big going down, and he looks like outside of the city, and it's basically Gotham, because you can see his mansion in the background, and then in the ground you see Darkseid symbol, then you see all his little flying creatures that he has, from Apocalypse. So basically it's a warning that Apocalypse is coming. Maybe in the next movie, who knows. What I liked about that scene is because it does show us what's coming next, but I really wish they would have done it better. The scene itself was awesome, and you see Batman breaking people, killing them. He's using guns and actually killing people. He's using a machine gun, for Christ's sakes. It's actually pretty badass. But yeah, whatever. And then he wakes up and he sees the Flash from the future, but he doesn't know he's the Flash. He's just some guy that tells him, "Oh, Lois Lane's the key. You were right about him. You can't trust him." And then he just wakes up. So he was in a dream within a dream within a time thing. So Bruce Wayne's like wondering what the heck is going on. But you never got really more information about that, so that was kind of just like, okay, it was there, it happened, and then that's it. And I really didn't like what they did with Superman. They really made him humanize them a lot. Because in the last one, he was kicking so much ass with Zod and his team, showing off all his powers and how powerful Superman is. In this one, he barely did anything. Lois Lane fell like twice in this movie, and he just saves her. She doesn't even say help. She just screams, he hears her, and boom, he gets her. Like, how does he pinpoint that? But whatever. He's Superman, so I guess he can hear anything. And then, of course, we get to the big fight scenes with Doomsday. Honestly, Doomsday comes because... Oh, before I get to Doomsday, this is one scene that kind of gets me a little confused. I remember in my Man of Steel review, I talked about how I wish Lois Lane wouldn't have figured out Superman's secret so fast. They would have just paced that off better. They did it again. They did it again with Lex Luthor. Basically, Lex Luthor figured out Superman's identity just by reading all the Kryptonian information that they had in that ship that crashed on Metropolis. And he knows now who Clark Kent is, who Superman is, who's his mother. He kidnaps Martha Kent, And then he's like telling them, if you want your mother back, you gotta go kill the bat and bring his head to me. Because now he's got Doomsday. He's creating Doomsday. He used General Zod's body to recreate him to make Doomsday. So Batman and Superman now gotta duke it out. And then Batman's got his technology waiting to fight Superman, and Superman doesn't want to fight Batman. But in the beginning of this movie, he was talking about how, as a journalist, he was talking about how, this Bat Vigilante, we gotta talk about him in the press. It's not, we can't talk about football games or whatever, because Perry White wanted him to talk about more about football than about this Bat Vigilante that's terrorizing people and civil rights in Gotham. But now we get to a point where Superman wants to fight Batman, and wasn't no much build up there, because honestly I wish, if Superman was so pissed off at Batman for doing all that crap to bad guys, he would have been at Gotham, would have been like, yo, calm down, yo. They would have duked it out the first round, and then the second time they want to fight, Batman wouldn't come with his armor, they would have duked it out better. And that fight scene between Batman and Superman was good. So it was good. And of course, obviously, Batman had all the gadgets, and he had the kryptonite. He had kryptonite, and kryptonite was used well. It was used well, but it was also used poorly at the same time, because honestly, Batman had a shotgun, and he shot him, and it was a kryptonite gas, and he absorbed it. Now, I know Superman from the cartoons and from the comic book, some of it. I know if he's anywhere near kryptonite, it will be a while before it comes out of his system. So if he breathes that in, it's still in his lungs. And then there's a scene where Batman is fighting Superman, he's punching him, and then, he stops fighting him because he gets stronger. The kryptonite wears off, and he's got to hit him again with kryptonite. And it's just, I don't know, it happens so fast, it's like, okay, come on, if he's so weak against kryptonite, why is it making it look like he's not too weak against it? I don't know. And then Batman had a kryptonite spear, he was going to use it on him. Then, of course, he was about to do it, and then, of course, he kept saying, Martha, Martha, you gotta help Martha. And Batman remembers his own mother's name is Martha. Then they shake hands, and then he goes off to save Martha Kent. And while that's happening, he saves her. Doomsday comes. They all fight. Wonder Woman helps out. They all do their thing. And then, of course, they kill Doomsday with the kryptonite spear. Of course, Superman's the one who's holding it. Kills Doomsday. But then Doomsday uses his bone claw to stab Superman in the chest. Now, Doomsday is not much of a kryptonite creature. I mean, he does have some of it, but he can be weak against kryptonite too. So, I don't know why he killed Superman, but Superman didn't heal. Because the first time they fought, Superman took him to space, and the military shot a nuke. And, Doomsday absorbed that nuke. And Superman was just paralyzed for like 5 minutes. He looked like a damn skeleton, looked like he was dead. But then, of course, the sun healed him, and then they fought again. But then he got stabbed by the kryptonite by Superman, and then Doomsday just took his bone claw and stabbed Superman in the heart. Okay, first of all, if he wouldn't have got stabbed, I can understand he's Kryptonian, he wouldn't be able to do that. He shouldn't have healed as soon as Doomsday died. And he did it, and then Superman died. And now the world grieves for Superman's death, and then, obviously, Lois and Martha, Diana, and of course Batman and Bruce also mourn, and they also talk about how they need to send a team, something's going to happen, and of course now we're up to Justice League. And of course, so like I said, those are the problems I had. I just wish Lex Luthor himself was more, they didn't have to give him the identity of Clark Kent, Superman. Because he's more driven to kill Superman when he doesn't know his secret. That just gives him more motivation. And this, they rushed it too much. I just wish they didn't rush it. They couldn't wait to Man of Steel 2, Man of Steel 3 to do it, but who knows. Well, anyway, there you go. There's my review. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below and let me know. And thank you and have a good day.